15 years ago, Quantic Dream practically invented the interactive drama genre with Fahrenheit. Its iconic opening put us in the shoes of Lucas Kane, a man in quite the murdery predicament. So why am I waxing nostalgic about this particular gem? Well, there are certainly similarities to be found in Twin Mirror. Waking up covered in blood with hazy memories of the night before? Yeah, that one's pretty notable.
That's not good, Where did I get this? What did I do?
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Meet Sam Higgs, a man who's making a very reluctant homecoming to his old stomping grounds of Basswood. It's been years since he left, but time hasn't exactly healed the wounds that kept him away. He's an investigative journalist who broke a major story that imploded his life in the process. The death of a friend has forced his hand though. So it's time to stop running and confront the past.
Samuel Higgs, as I live and breathe. Has it really been over 2 years? Regardless, I'm so glad you finally made it. It's good to see you. What kept you?
A trip down memory lane. I missed the funeral, but I made it to Nick's wake.
5 minutes into the wake conjures a distinct impression that the man's not well liked in these parts.
Mr. Samuel Higgs, big shot investigative reporter.
I mean, it's not exactly subtle.
Didn't think you'd ever be back in here.
I'd gladly slash your tires. But that mean you couldn't leave town. And you are leaving town right after this, right? Because if you aren't, well, Nick's memory only goes so far.
Characters will often walk right up and say it point blank to Sam's face.
That's what I thought.
Poor Sam. Now that Nick is gone, everyone in town hates you. I mean, I don't. Why would I? It's not my job you destroyed.
Thanks for the confidence booster, Tara. I'll see you around.
But Sam doesn't intend to stick around any longer than he needs to. His decisive plan to leave town as quickly as possible soon finds itself derailed.
Muley, you actually came.
It's been a while. You've gotten taller.
Who's this kid? Well, she's Joan, the daughter of Nick,
Can we talk?
Sam's late best friend.
It doesn't make sense. He wouldn't have just crashed. He drove like a grandma, you know that. It's wrong. I don't buy it.
I'm just in town for the funeral, Joan. I'm not a PI or a cop.
You're the closest thing I can talk to. Will you just look into it, Muley? Please?
She's practically family. There's very much an uncle-niece dynamic happening here. Joan's got her suspicions that there might be more sinister undertones to her dad's demise, and encourages Sam to ask questions. Sam, or my version of the character at least, is all too happy to oblige.
Okay, I'll see what I can see and all that. Gumshoe it up.
You will?
You make some good points. It doesn't fit. I hate when things don't fit.
Yeah, me too. I might just be, I don't know, crazy or something, but...
You want to know for sure. I get it.
I mean, he doesn't exactly have a whole lot of friends left to alienate, right?
One quick thing. Nick's death. Are you sure it was an accident?
Are we sure? What are you trying to say?
Now, Sam, I know you're a bird dog at heart and a bird dog hunts. But listen, Nick's death was an accident. Don't go riling people up. Don't you think you've done that enough to the nice folks around here?
I guess so. Enjoy your evening. To Nick, he was my friend. He will be missed, but not forgotten.
Hear, hear.
What could possibly go wrong? Well, Sam gets blackout drunk and finds himself implicated in a murder. Happens to the best of us. In hindsight, I guess a lot of things could possibly go wrong.
What a night!
So, long story short, we're tasked with putting Sam's investigative skills to use again.
The puzzle comes together. What Nick was looking into was something big and dangerous. It's why he was so careful.
To clear his name and unravel the truth about his friend's death. You best believe there'll be a whole lot of angst in the process, friend. Play enough of a studio's games and you can usually detect a distinct identity, an aesthetic, an art direction, even just the way they go about designing their worlds. But that's not really the case here. In fact, Twin Mirror feels slightly out of step with Don't Nod's other work. It's still an interactive drama, sure, but the tone's very different here. Twin Mirror genuinely feels like a hybrid of Quantic Dream and Remedy. It's got the profound weirdness of Alan Wake in Quantum Break. Even the town itself is reminiscent of Bright Falls. The pulpy nature of the story is very much in Remedy's wheelhouse. But as for Quantic Dream, well, that would be all the previously established Fahrenheit vibes. And let's face it, Fahrenheit was profoundly weird too. I do love how Don't Nod's games aren't afraid of carving out their own identity and trying new things. Part of the problem of Telltale's output was the lack of variation in how they played after all. So how does this one play? If you mosey through one interactive drama, you'll know the broad strokes. Essentially, scouring the environments for clues and chatting with the locals about what they know. Sam's decisions will shape how the story unravels. That's always a fun hook of this particular genre. But Twin Mirror absolutely introduces its own twist on the formula. That's all centered around exploring Sam's psyche. Just like in Fahrenheit, you've got to manage Sam's increasingly fragile mental state. How you go about it is pretty different though. Fahrenheit was all about calming their nerves. Drink a coffee, take a moment to wash your face, then all would be right with the world. Here, the man's prone to intrusive thoughts and the occasional panic attack. You deal with them through minigames that are definitely more on the abstract side. I genuinely appreciated having the opportunity to play a character that lives with anxiety issues. It's safe to say that Sam's a character who lives in his head. He routinely zones out mid-conversation to contemplate his varied predicaments. Being a video game, it's no surprise that this is often presented in a way that's very gamey. Allow me to introduce you to the Mind Palace, a physical manifestation of Sam's inner life. It's very much a coping mechanism for Sam, an opportunity to silence the world and process things. A concept that wouldn't be out of place in a Remedy game. I'm just saying.
Why can't the real world be as clear and peaceful as my own mind?
It's where he goes to think and remember formative moments from his not too distant past. It's a way for us to explore his relationships with the townfolks without the need for exposition. One of those narrative things where it's always better to see something rather than be told about it. But it's also how Sam goes about puzzle solving.
Even if it does mean nothing stays hidden in here. Not even me.
And investigating the intricacies of the case. Maybe you'll be tasked with studying environments, deducing the chronological order of an event based on surrounding clues. Always a good time. I genuinely enjoyed doing the legwork, poking through the environments and solving all the mysteries. It helps when the game's just so damn pretty and detailed too. There are all kinds of objects scattered throughout the world for Sam to collect. There's shared history lurking around every corner, just waiting to trigger a memory, both good and bad. I particularly liked how the casebook updates as you learn new things as well. If this ain't your first mosey through, it'll likely come as no surprise that I'm always flailing my arms about those little touches of detail that make a world feel lived in. So you can imagine my delight when I realized the Pac-Man arcade machine here was playable. You best believe there was some enthusiastic arm flailing.
I can tell something has you spooked. I can always tell.
Then there's this guy.
Go on. Tell her.
You could honestly use a non-imaginary person to confide in. She might slow me down, or try to involve the cops. She might do those things, yes, or she might be someone who you can trust, who can help.
What's his deal? Well, he's almost like Sam's conscience personified. From time to time, often while mid-conversation, he'll appear out of the ether and time will freeze.
I woke up today and my shirt was covered in blood.
Blood? What happened?
I don't know.
He calls out protagonists on his bullshit and often encourages different ways of dealing with problems. If Sam is world-weary and overly analytical, this mysterious stranger is more empathetic and optimistic. Let me tell you, friend, it's pretty neat to have someone to bounce thoughts off, and it's a clever way of presenting an inner monologue without the need for a whole lot of narration. It gives insight into who Sam is as a person and the demons he's struggling to overcome. But it's not without its problems. Often it sort of undermines our role in the decision-making process, essentially telling us what's the right thing to do, instead of giving the player agency to figure it out. I mean, you're never obligated to listen to the advice, but other Sam often proves the calm voice of reason. The game's not without its flaws. For starters, it's shorter and a whole lot more straightforward than I thought it would be. Twin Mirror started its life as an episodic series, along the lines of Life is Strange and Tell Me Why, but I feel like it wouldn't have worked in that format at all. I'm glad I got to play it as a cohesive whole. There's also some weirdness in the writing. When it comes to Joan, there's a bizarre disconnect. She looks like a kid, everyone talks about her like she's a teenager. It's hard to gauge how old she's actually supposed to be. Do I keep troubling information about her dad's death from her? A child might not be able to handle it, but a young adult could. It was unclear and thoroughly weird. But don't let me discourage you. The good here outweighs the bad. Twin Mirror is a genuinely engaging mystery and one that I can easily recommend. Okay, that's enough. That was Mosey Through. I'm Dan Clarke. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to mosey through to the like and subscribe buttons, friends.